GM, everybody. Happy Thursday. Migration Season 2 that we announced. That is just the beginning of a lot of stuff in the ecosystem. Emblem products starting to come online as we update the Emblem ecosystem in the markets today. Meteor launch today with some cool tokenomics. CZ being pardoned, Arch Network finally coming online after a year of delays, and a lot of TGEs coming up over the next month or so. Adam, how are we feeling today with our OCM hat?
Bro, I'm hoping I'm waiting for my wall chain. When's the wall chain TGE happening, bro? I'm waiting for do we have any hopes that that's more than like $5? Because it's just like when it's dragged out like this, it just keeps getting dragged. I'm like, oh, this is a zero. This is like less than a zero. I don't know. I've kind of given up on the idea of farming. Like Hawk talked me into it when we were in Denver. He's like, man, you got to farm, man. This is like easiest 200K a year. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, it's so easy. And I was like, I don't know, man. I see guys getting rinsed for like nothing. Like they spent a year or 2 years or 3 years, God help them, farming something and then got like $800. I'm just like, I think I'm just completely out. I don't know.
I'd rather farm my time building a protocol than actually farming the protocol itself. I mean, granted, if you're farming the protocol and you hit right, you could probably make a lot more in the short term than building a product. But I think investing your time more wisely in building something has a lot harder or a lot better payout in the long term. Although you could spend years like us, and if everything fails, we waste 3-4 years. You get zero.
At least bro.
At least with the farm, you'll get some pennies. So.
Yeah. The 800 would be pretty nice, huh?
I mean, it's like the guy Cool who I hang out with all the time on Dave's.
Yeah, he's like part of Dave's group, right?
Like this is what he does in crypto. He just farms and he makes a good life for himself. And there's zero risk, right? Other than I guess he risks some capital, in and out, kind of moving it around. So there's that sort of capital risk, but I think that's pretty minimal. And then he's just making tweets all day, just bombing tweets and making money on it. It's not a bad, it's not a bad strategy. It's just not. I can't do that, man.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I tried doing that in 2021 with like the whitelist farming, and after like a month, I was like, dude, screw this. This is not worth it. I like the airdrops where you just go about doing whatever you want to do, and then there's like some retroactive airdrop, like with the Meteora thing, or not Meteora, with the Monad kind of thing, right? We all got cards of some capacity. I think I got level 1, you guys got level 2, but that's from just literally just doing whatever you want to do, right? The dog airdrop was the same, just experimenting with stuff. The Mega ETH ICO that's coming up, I have a Fluffle, and that was also from just being on Kaido or just kind of doing what you're doing. Those always seem to be like the best. I mean, one of the biggest airdrops ever was the Uniswap airdrop. And that was just people just using Uniswap. There was like no intention to actually farming in itself. But I do think farming needs some sort of change. I think we're starting to get out of that social farming era and into something else. But Chris, I know, has farmed some things. What's your take on farming? And then maybe we'll dive into some of the TGEs upcoming.
What is good? There's 2 different kinds of farming, maybe more, but there's social farming, which is a bit edgy, then you'll always be kind of known as like a social farmer, that's the cost of the airdrop, right? You got to just be a Kaido farmer or something like that. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that if you're talking about a new product every single day, you're probably just muted on everybody's timeline, right? Like nobody actually cares what you have to say because it's not your real opinion. You're just being paid. You're kind of like, I don't know, I don't want to say a sellout, but you're just literally just doing it for the money, And there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. It's just that if you want your opinion to be taken more seriously, that means it's not necessarily for sale. It's not just for the next dollar. Most of my farming was done probably early Solana, when it was just pretty obvious that they were going to build the same applications that Ethereum had and probably do the same playbook that Ethereum did, which is, Uniswap airdropped SNX airdrops. All these big platforms that needed to exist came in, and they needed users, and they were going to reward them. So I think like, you know, Monad will probably do the same thing. Not only will Monad be a good airdrop, but the biggest future applications on Monad will probably be a good airdrop. That seems to be the playbook. I thought Bitcoin might be the same, but it's just I don't think anyone has any money, and that they don't even have enough money to airdrop. So I don't know. Maybe someday they will, but that one was kind of obvious. But then, you know, no one did it. So, but yeah, I mean, I can't hate on anyone getting free money. I like free money. That's the best type of money that ever existed. But definitely be a bit cautious to just sell your rep for, you know, the next hot project that's going to give you $300 or something. But Adam, I mean, you were farming wall chain, but you just tweet that's what you do. You're already you're not doing anything extra.
Although I did at the beginning, there were like giving out invites. I did give out invites because it was actually, if you remember, it was like
I used your invite. You got me.
Hooked you in, man. That made me so much money.
Yeah,
I mean, this is what you know. It's just like, you know, you're going to get. I mean, I know, like for Ethos, for example, I actually used Ethos a lot. I wrote a lot of reviews and stuff.
That's right.
But dude, I mean, I think I'm gonna get $500 from Ethos.
What happened to them? Are they still around?
Oh, they're still definitely around. They're definitely around. So much is dependent on the, like, you know, how much money these guys raise. And I don't think they've raised a crazy amount. So how much could they possibly airdrop?
Right.
You know?
Was it the Ethos guys or was it the wall chain guys that were ex like social media kind of founders?
Well, I know the Ethos guys were heavy into
like Facebook or something like that.
No, there was friend tech and stuff like that. They weren't on the team, but that's where they kind of were building some stuff and whatever. I mean, I like those guys. I think they're good, but you know, they just have such significant challenges. So it's really tough. But the wall chain, I still don't know exactly what wall chain is. Like, what is it other than like a point system to track tweets? You know, I don't know.
Quacks, bro. You gotta get
quacks. I mean, it's a decent guy, but it's like, what are they doing? Like, I don't know. It's just kind of a soft knockoff of Cato. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, so it's Wallchain. Their founder Yuri was in Y Combinator, an Alliance DAO alum, and he worked at Google and Facebook. And then the co-founder has a PhD in machine learning from wherever and was working at Grammarly, Google, and Facebook.
I just learned yesterday that Jesse from Base, you know, had on his LinkedIn like BA from, I don't know, whatever school.
And it was
fake because he had dropped out of school and had tweeted like, "Hey, I'm a college dropout. I dropped out to pursue my, you know." Did you see that happening on the timeline?
No, but I mean, nothing in this industry is real.
He didn't slap it at him because he's like, "Which is it, dude? Are you you dropped out to pursue, or do you have the fucking degree?" Because on your LinkedIn it says you have the degree, right? And and Jesse's shilling like this hard Scrabble life, how he dropped out and like ate rice and beans. You know, turned out, of course. I mean, no, you know, whatever. But his parents sent him to like, you know, $60,000 a year private school all through high school.
It's a struggle. Hey, it's a struggle.
He's struggling out there, and he's like, he's selling this like hard Scrabble life. It's like, come on, bro. Yeah, he got caught. He got caught by Beanie yesterday in a trap.
Yeah, the base ecosystem. I'm seeing a lot of people turn on them because they're getting tired of getting Zora shilled down their throats. And I think a lot of people seem to be quite burnt out by it.
There was one good tweet from a guy who was like, you know, this is what Jesse's doing here is the problem with base. Is they're trying to connect like on a human level, like we're one of you and we're with you, we're hard, you know, like Jesse was just, we're hard Scrabble, we pulled ourselves up. And really it's just a corporate chain. And people are like they're just done with like the faux-ness of it, where they're supporting their own projects. They're supporting the shit that they're invested in, not supporting creators who are actually doing some cool stuff there, which is the number one complaint from teams that are building over that. I mean, just look at Virtuals. Virtuals got no support. They were the biggest thing happening on base and got nothing for a long time. And yeah, I don't know. That's the problem with base.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's right. And like I listened to Jeff Park, he was talking about the Kobe acquisition and how like Coinbase is so righteous for just their mission, which is economic empowerment around the world. And I was just like, that's not even real at all. Like they didn't support Bitcoin for the first like 15 years of their existence. They charge like 5 or 8% on every transaction, whatever it is, just like egregious fees, which is counterintuitive to what this industry was ever founded on. We first began trying to disrupt like Western Union and cross-border payments that were taking 30% of, just payments sent back home to wherever these families are from. I mean, there's nothing about them that's like providing economic freedom, and so it is all fake. It's all just really a grift.
Yes, sir.
Totally, bro. It's so funny. It is funny, but the Kobe acquisition, to try and change that image, who knows?
It's that skateboarder guy, like how are you doing?
Yeah, hey kids.
Kids, how we doing? It's that exact meme. We're just one of you. Just that's why we paid $400 million for Kobe. We're just like you.
Just like you.
Right. Okay, totally. So we got a lot. So there's a handful of directions we could go into. The first one, though, we could continue on base for a second with the Kobe acqui-hire. Actually, did you listen to the same podcast I did? I think it was the Blockworks one where they brought on the base, whoever the lead base is, and so Kobe is an official Coinbase employee. They said that was part of the acquisition. It was mostly stock, Coinbase stock, from what I was reading. And they touched on, at least in this interview, they touched on that essentially there's an attention kind of game happening, very similar to, or a streamer game. It's very similar to kind of what's happening with the prediction market wars, where they're hiring all the KOLs to speak. They were saying that there's somewhat of a same thing happening right now for crypto natives' attention to try to win back some of the, I guess you'd say, discretions, or maybe some of the pain points that the crypto natives hate about Coinbase. They're trying to kind of capture a lot of that back through their on-chain economy, right? Because Echo is moving towards, or Echo allows them to do on-chain ICOs in a compliant way. But also having Kobe be an official Coinbase employee, they think could help win some good grace there. Obviously, probably overpaying. In the interview itself, they said Echo has, and I say only just in air quotes, only has raised $250 million on the platform.
On the platform. Okay.
In terms like all the projects raising money, but they bought it for $400 million.
Yeah,
right?
It makes no sense from like a money standpoint. It makes no fucking sense. Like as a business, it makes no sense.
So at the time of the acquisition, but here's the thing. Okay, at the time of the acquisition, the deal was worth $350 million, but after the announcement, the acquisition deal was worth $400 million because of the stock went up, right? So it gets into this, like, sometimes the acquisition and the announcement of the acquisition, or the intention of showing where you're going, is almost more valuable than the product itself, right? Yep. You see this happen time and time again. Chris and I were actually talking about this with Eric the other day as well. Sometimes just showing that you want to buy, and Coinbase said they had acquired 40 companies in their history so far, and 8 just this year alone, and that they're going to continue grinding up and acquiring. So I guess, Adam, how much is Kobe worth? Kobe's social value in the industry. He's kind of like, I guess you would say, the top. I don't even call him a KOL. He's just literally just a leader in the industry. Like, well, how much is that actually worth?
I think it's, for them especially, dealing with the issue we just talked about, which is it's not seen as like a I don't want to say necessarily ethical, because I do think they're an ethical company, but I don't think it's not seen as like a crypto native company almost, right? And to that, I think they bought the best kind of tastemaker on X in a way. It's so I don't think maybe it is worth $100 million in total valuation, or $200 million.
You're saying just like his brand value,
just the brand value it brings, right? If he has to stay there for 5 years or whatever that workout is for him, it's $50 million a year. It's probably worth it to have him on the timeline tweeting. And I mean, it's not like a easy win, but this is some way. If you're buying a KOL, like, he's pretty much the top KOL. He maybe not move markets, but just like, where that, like, people just trust him. They trust his opinions for whatever reason, right? He's earned that sort of level of trust, which is, I'd say, the highest on the timeline. Second, maybe, I don't know who would be second or third, but nobody with that kind of influence. I'd have to think of like Zach XBT or somebody like that who has the trust, but not nearly the influence. So yeah, I don't know. It's really, I think I like Brian's thought process here. I said that before. I think just the acquisition from a leaning into the where the puck is going. I think IPOs, I don't think it's going to really happen this cycle, but maybe in the next cycle, IPOs really kind of happen on chain, and buying the leader in the space. I just think it's a smart move, and overpaying in the short term for something in the long term that's going to be super valuable.
So yesterday, Path, who was the leader when we did our echo round in their group, he's around the same time, right? Kobe, Path, Noose, a lot of these guys, not so fast, are all the 2013 class. It's like the first kind of real altcoin class, right? Because the first altcoin was 2011 with Namecoin, but it took a few years for the centralized exchanges to be built and then to start supporting the altcoins. So somebody says, why does CT love Kobe so much? And then Path basically comes out and says that when the altcoins first appeared, there was no Zach XVT in 2014, and Kobe was a good voice of reason to help people not get suckered into convoluted con jobs like the Zeta coin, and there's a handful of other ones like Hex and XRP and blah, blah, blah. And he basically says that Kobe kind of really created the kind of shit posting type, I guess you'd say, persona that a lot of people on CT has adopted ever since, right? This kind of like the opposite side of this professional TradFi investor, and more of just like taking things less serious, being a little bit more jokey. And he says that Kobe was very high signal at the time, and a lot of influencers, or people who are considered influencers now in CT, basically adopted his style of posting and personality since then. And that's why he's pretty much so revered and so adored. And he still also embellishes a lot of the cypherpunk ideals that are largely lost by a lot of the new participants. But Chris, looking at this from the overall base kind of perspective, do they shill base token in the on up only? Where's Kobe's place within Coinbase? And then what's more valuable in the acquisition deal, Kobe as a Coinbase employee or the actual Echo platform itself?
Oh man, I mean, yeah, the podcast is definitely going to be sponsored by Coinbase and Base only. Base is going to be jammed down our throats. There's no question about it. But I mean, you got to give him props for doing what he did. I wonder, I love Kobe. I think everyone in the CT class loves Kobe. He's always just kind of been a real guy. I wonder how much of his likeness is the fact that he's British and like his accent and how they're just like much more likable. Like I wonder if he was American, if he would have the same influence that he does. You know what I mean? It's funny how a little kind of just detail like that can change someone's perspective. As Americans, we always
a Southern drawl American would not have the same following.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no way, right? Or if he was like maybe of Asian descent, like, there's no way he would have.
Well, the good example is Ledger versus Kobe, right? Because Ledger's from Alabama or Mississippi or whatever.
Ledger, I mean, like, what does Ledger even do, right? Like, he doesn't do anything. I don't know. He's like more of like he's like the goofball, he's like the Chum Lee of Pawn Stars of up only. Don't mean to say that derogatorily, but it is what it is. Anyways, as far as just the podcast and how valuable it would be, I only made it because I'm British.
Yeah, Arlen knows you.
See? Exactly. You're a likable guy. Us Americans like that. But you look at some of the highest paid streamers like Kaisnot, like Aiden, and they get $150 million deals. So does Kobe have more influence than them? Yeah, 100%. Like Kobe commands the entire like CT army as best as anyone would be able to. So, I mean, Aiden might control an army of, I don't know, 16-year-olds or 20-year-olds or whatever it would be, Gen Zers, but they don't have any money. Like, everyone in crypto has a lot of money for the most part, anyone with a little bit of influence, and they all look up to Kobe. So, I mean, how do you monetize that? What does it mean? Just getting that between your brand, behind your brand, I think is important. I like Coinbase. I've always been big fan of what they've built. It's hard to build a crypto company today. It was extremely difficult in 2012. Definitely, I would say in regards to what Adam said about them being ethical. I think that they're definitely maybe in a gray area, right? They had like the biggest KYC leak ever and didn't even announce it. They never even came clean about it. So that's like as anti-ethical that you can be, right? As unethical as you can be. So, but I mean, all in all, I mean, it's definitely damage control. It's brand reputation. It's buying your way into the crypto industry, which it's funny that they even need to, because they're a crypto native company. They shouldn't need to buy Kobe to have crypto influence. But like Adam said, they're more of a Wall Street company than a crypto company.
That they are got to compete with Robinhood, who's gaining a lot of traction and a lot of fanfare from the crypto native communities.
Who would Robinhood buy if they had to compete? If they had to fire back, who would they buy?
So they bought.
It's funny. Like, imagine if like Kobe just replaced Jesse. Like, how much better?
Base would be the biggest thing.
I'd be all in on base, right?
They're kind of similar. They kind of, they look a lot like we're
right? But it's like I would, it's
Jesse's
like
American.
Jesse's such a turnoff that it's like I don't know. Yeah. I mean, maybe that's part of it. He creates so much rage on the timeline that's good for them.
I think Jesse's too wagme. Like that was so last cycle. Crypto natives hate that shit now. Everyone hates it. Yeah, it's way too much. And I think normie culture also is not a big wagme either, because normies now have got wrecked 3 cycles in a row.
Yep.
So you got to bring down, you got to bring in a little bit more cynicism or a little bit more sarcastic tone. I think people would probably like them a lot, but base will be shoved down our throats for sure. The base token will probably be announced at the end of Up Only would be kind of my guess there. But dude, there's tons and tons and tons of ICOs happening here. A lot of project launches. Honestly, I may be in the minority here, but I actually think like in bear markets is generally the time you want to do TGEs, right? Because you will get some sell pressure. And I know the Meteor token has gotten some sell pressure, but it allows you to kind of work out a lot of the issues with the tokens while nobody's paying attention. And then when the market comes back, people will start bidding it, right? That's what happened with the pump token, with buybacks and stuff. And this continues to be the case. So Meteor here, they launched that MET token. They launched they've
like 48% they got.
48%. They launched like 3 different LPs. There was also like an NFT token to this. So they did roll out some new type of tokenomics that it's a little bit above my head, to be honest, trying to figure it all out. Meteor is a great product. It's very advanced when it comes to liquidity. They use bins, right? Instead, bins is like their kind of like primary use case, and they can do single-sided liquidity. They're heavily involved in the Believe app migration, right? So they can do a lot of, and they also are owned by Jupiter, so they could do like a lot more advanced type of things because they own pretty much the entire vertical stack here. Bubble Map confirms that what their tokenomics said is exactly what is going on here. It looks like they started on chain first, and then the centralized exchanges are coming a few hours afterwards. A lot of people are eating off of LP fees. Came out at $500 million FDV. I think it has fallen a little bit since then. And yeah, I don't really know where to go from here. It's a big product launch. It's a company that generates close to $1 billion in annualized revenue. They're also in the hot seat for the Melania and Trump situations of rugging, right? That's how their original founder got kicked out of the app, was because of that situation. But
remind me of that. So one of their founders was involved with Melania or whatever. I don't remember that.
Yeah, so it was basically, and I think it was kind of somewhat of a misunderstanding. Maybe there was malicious intent here, but apparently the Melania team, well, they helped launch the they helped launch the Trump one, right? Yep. And then they were in conversations with the Melania team, and there was like a recording of the founder talking with that team about how to set it up and how to, I guess, like extract as much revenue as possible from it.
Yeah.
And as a business, that's something you want is revenue. But I think in the middle of the chaos and like, I guess his wording of how he was being recorded he wasn't aware that he was being recorded, but it sounded pretty bad. It was basically like, hey, how do we max extract this? Right. So lined kind of up with Hayden. I don't think it was probably his intent to just like rug everyone, right? You have like a successful product, and it was probably more of like, how do we get as much attention around this as possible? And honestly, since that Trump launch, Meteor has been pretty much up only in terms of adoption there. But congrats to them on the launch here. Does anyone have any thoughts on Meteora, the token, kind of the ecosystem, or anything that captures your attention revolving around them?
Chris, you've been farming this one? This one a multi-year farm?
No, definitely not.
How do you even farm this? Is it just you trade on it basically? Is that
Providing LP?
Providing LP. Busy's like Busy, who's a friend of ours, is like a pretty big Meteora farmer.
Was he happy with it? Everyone that I saw wasn't too happy with her. Deliverable.
Busy did not seem happy from what I saw either.
Pull up his tweets. Let's see what he said, man. I haven't seen what he said yet.
It's basically just like, I think it's because the market's down, but there's just like a lot of sell pressure. And it's also, I think, him just LARPing as well, because he's like a big Meteora guy, shit posting. Basically just saying congrats on the TGE, incredible tech, and then you look at the chart and it's like down only. Right. But
it's a bull flag, man. It's a bull flag.
It's him, right? He just says that he FUDs everyone's bags, even his own. So the liquidity distribution he was looking at, apparently there was like $35 or $40 million in liquidity provided on chain at this TG, which is actually quite a lot. But see, this year I'm not going to pretend that I know everything about providing advanced LP. But from my understanding here, right, you see these green lines. These are different bins, right? It's because it's concentrated LP. So in these certain areas, there's more liquidity for the token to kind of sit in one certain area until that liquidity is basically the buy pressure or sell pressure pushes it out. And there was a lot of liquidity provided at the lower ends of the price token, but not as much at the high price of the token, right? So you could see that it's an easy cascade downwards to the downside, which is what seems to be happening. And that's kind of what he had said here is like, I'm looking at the largest USD pool and they're all about to get destroyed. And he's like, I'll happily, eat on the fees. So those who opted to get the NFT, which is like a fee NFT, which is part of the TG, you could either get like, from my understanding, you could either get like the Meteora tokens itself, or you get this NFT, which represents a portion of the LP fees within like whatever the major kind of LP bin was. And so he was basically saying here that it looks like this price is going to tank pretty bad, but whoever is providing LP is going to make a bunch of money. And that seems to be exactly how it's playing out so far. This is why I don't participate in these games. It's way too advanced for me with these liquidity kind of games.
Yep. So wait, what's the market cap right now on it?
Let me see. It had dropped pretty bad. I think it's down to like 200 or 300 million.
Okay.
And so I guess
that's pretty cheap, I think, for a protocol that, what'd you say, makes $1 billion a year?
Annualized, yeah. I think it's pretty. I think that's pretty undervalued too, to be honest. Looks like the market.
200 million compared to, I don't know, Pump, right? And Pump's at 4 billion.
Mm-hmm.
And that was their TG price. Geez, that's Chris. Am I seeing things right? Should I be a buyer at 200 if it touches 200 million?
I mean, you just got to know how much the team has. You know what I mean? That's
right.
How much is the team going to dump on your head?
Well, apparently they have 52%, right? I guess they gave out 48% today. Although I still leave a bunch of that.
So Pump is 3.9 billion FDV, and then Meteora is 550 million FDV. So Pump is about 8 times the size.
Pretty crazy, actually.
That seems cheap too, actually. Well, look, according to this chart, I think everyone also said, hey, this is way cheap at 250 million. Guys, look at that green candle on the 1 hour, and just continually going up.
That's like,
But
that's kind of you would look for that in an airdrop, right? A bunch of people are going to sell the millisecond that those tokens hit their wallet. So
yeah,
actually not performing too badly after the fact.
yeah, 32 million too. This is just one. So if I type in just Met, you could probably see there's like a bunch of different LPs. So you got one pool has 27 million, one pool has 7 million, one pool has 700K, 3 million, 6 million. Jesus Christ. There's like what, $40 million in on-chain liquidity here. And you also got 32 mil, maybe like 70 million in on-chain volume. That's like probably one of the highest on-chain volume and liquidities I've ever seen on the TGE, which rightfully so if you're Meteor, right? Because that's exactly what you do. So congrats to them on it. Speaking of, milliseconds, Mega ETH announced the Mega token, and they're also doing their ICO, doing some interesting on-chain, or I guess distribution mechanisms for their ICO. They did a $250 million round on Echo, where they raised I think $15 million. Then they raised, or maybe it was 30 million. Then they did a $500 million round for their NFT Fluffles, which is a 5K collection. I got one of those, which is pretty cool. And now they're doing a potentially $1 billion round with 5% of the tokens that they had recently acquired back from the initial investors themselves. So I guess they'd sold $30 million worth of tokens in the Echo round at 250 million. And then it's, from what I'm reading online, rumors, they had bought back 5% of the supply for $500 million. So double the early investors' money, and then they're taking those tokens and flipping it for $1 billion.
Wait, what kind of wacky tokenomics is this, bro? We're gonna buy these back and then instantly dump them on retail.
Yeah, I guess that's, and retail wants it. Like, from what I'm reading, this is going to sell out like pretty much instantly. And they also announced, pretty smart here, because Mega ETH's an L2, but it's a different way. It's a different L2 compared to the other ones, because they focused a lot on their sequencer. Sequencer is like the Oracle, or if you're in the Bitcoin space, the indexer, right? They talk about for meta protocols. The sequencer is kind of the same thing for L2s. Also something a little bit over my head, but they announced something with the Mega token called a sequencer rotation, which I almost thought this was a meme as they had posted this. They said that they have one active sequencer at a time, and it rotates with the world's economic day, whether you're in
get the fuck out of here.
whether it's Tokyo, Netherlands, Northern Virginia, and Los Angeles. In each window, operators stake Mega to compete, and the selection considers the stake past performance infra. Faults are slashed. So the sequencer is based off of the rotation of the Earth, which is kind of. I literally thought this was a meme.
How quickly can you sell your Fluffle, bro? Sell it immediately, bro.
The Fluffle's an SBT. So the thing is, like, the Fluffle is like a rabbit NFT SBT that you get airdrop the tokens to. Interesting thing here is that the pre-markets have the Mega token trading at a $5 billion valuation, and this ICO is maxed out at a $1 billion valuation. So this is why they think that it's going to sell out pretty instantly. I think they're kind of writing a new playbook for the way to do a community sale. They never raised $1 from any VCs. They've done, just token sales to the community and public sales this entire way up, from Echo to NFT people to now the public sale. And then the TG, from what I was reading, is supposed to take place in January 2026 in the new tax year. But they announced this, pretty smart, right? Adding utility. So you have to stake the Mega token to be a part of the sequencer. It's like a validator, right? So we've seen this playbook with L1s pretty much ad nauseum, but they're doing it for the L2 now. And then they have something called proximity markets. So bidding for sequencer adjacent floor space. So think of it as like bidding for block space. Market makers and apps optimized for minimal latency so that the orders are submitted and confirmed in real time. DeFi gets tighter spreads. Yeah, it's some gigabrain stuff there, but
bro, it's not built yet. And how are they going to attract apps on here, bro? They've
got a bunch of apps already on testnet. They're the ones that had a
Chris's face. Chris is like,
they have the social sentiment thing that people were going. It's on testnet, but you could go long and short like sentiment of products and stuff. Mega ETH is trying to compete with Solana. If you follow Bread Guy, we've been friends with Bread Guy for a while. I think he had 5,000 followers or something when we had him on the early days of the Emblem Morning Show.
Yep.
He's done a really good job. I think he's one of those people. He's like me and you, Adam, honestly, right? Joined the team as a podcaster, as a media person, and just completely became kind of the front and center voice of it. And he's done a good job at coalescing a lot of the crypto community to participate in the Mega ETH. They're really competing with Solana. They're supposed to be the fastest sequencer alive that performs 10,000 TPS or whatever it is, 100,000 TPS kind of thing. This is probably the biggest L2 hype around an L2 I've seen in quite a while.
It is, yeah.
Chris, what's your take on Mega ETH with doing various rounds of tokenomics for community sales for ICO Era 2.0, as well as introducing 2 new utility features of sequencer rotations based off of the rotation of the sun and proximity markets related to the block space of the sequencer?
I actually like that. I like integrating astronomy, astrology into tokenomics. I think that's cool. I think it's novel. It's like, like linking the block height to different activities on chain. I think that's actually cool. It is like meme worthy. They did get Bread Guy, right? Bullish on Bread Guy. That's like, he's as valuable as if they lose Bread Guy, like, oh,
it's over.
It's over. It's like, keep Bread Guy happy. That's like, maybe pay him 150 million. I don't know. Is he worth 150 million? But I mean, all in all, I think Jake's right. It's the biggest L2 launch, basically. But the only reason that anybody knows anything about it is literally because of Bread Guy. So keep yapping on the timeline, Bread Guy. But I don't have any real thoughts on it, to be honest.
I mean, for me, it's just like, I don't know. It could go, maybe it's worth 10 billion. I don't know. It feels like we all know the hardest thing to do is build winning apps.
People are bullish on Mega ETH, though. I gotta say, there is a fan club. Whether they're paid chillers or not, I don't know, but there is a pretty loud group of Mega ETH bulls.
Yeah, they think number go up technology, right? It's like, but I still think, I don't know. My feeling is we're moving into the era of like real user. I think we have to move into this idea of like real stuff. And when you see a team like Meteora make substantial money, I don't know. I just feel like that is where I'd say, if I was going to put my money somewhere, and I'm not putting my money in any of this stuff, but if I was putting my money somewhere, I'd put it in like a Meteora or a Pump, where it's like, this is a real company with real use cases. And yeah, memes may die for 2 years, but memes are always going to come back. Meme coin trading is not going to zero. But the idea that, an L2 is going to somehow attract new people, it's just hard as fuck to do. It's not that I don't think the team could pull something off, but it's just better, faster, stronger. What the fuck's happening with Sui or fucking, I don't know, any of those chains? Like, I don't know. Why is this one? Why would I use this one compared to any of those others? And I don't know. It just doesn't feel like I'm more about like the winning apps. What apps are winning? And that's where the best place to put your money is.
Yeah. I like Meteora and Pump, right? Those perfectly fit in the Solana narrative for revenue generating products, and the token's kind of like a pseudo representation of that, as well as they're introducing different types of tokenomics with the Met token. No doubt in my mind, Pump's going to have something crazy come out at some point in the near future, with all of these different ICM markets and dev.pump and all of these other things that are going to be introduced to that. But in the near term, I got a few other things that I want to dive into before and talk about some of our ecosystem. Today, in the Bitcoin ecosystem, there's a little bit of some jazz firing up. Arch Network, that was supposed to launch in January, and then supposed to launch in March, and then supposed to launch in September, says the quiet build is over. Says for 18 months they built in silence. I don't think it was really in silence, but I'll give it to them. This is probably one of the hottest and most hotly anticipated meta protocols on Bitcoin in quite some time. Their whole thing is Arch network is not a bridge. It's not a wrap. It's all on L1. I'll let people kind of decide what their view is on that. But it was something we were looking forward to and anticipating for the Keys launch. Actually, I was like, we'll just do an LP and AMM on Arch when that's live, and that didn't happen. But I think a lot of people are expecting Arch to come in and save runes and ordinals and a bunch of this other stuff. Essentially, so they have Saturn, which is a DEX. They have a RWA platform, right? So the good thing is as they delay, some other apps can go in and build. And I have talked with a bunch of builders who have used their testnet and said that it is quite effective, but I know a lot of people had left to go build on ICP because they were tired of waiting. So once this comes, I guess we'll have to see what happens here. But Matt's a good guy. He's been on our show a few times from Arch Network. I'm excited to see and bring some life back into runes and ordinals. Adam, do you think this can save Bitcoin, save the Bitcoin ecosystem, and bring back some liquidity to runes?
Totally. This is going to do it, man. I know this is the one. This is the meta protocol to end all meta protocols, bro. This is going to do it. This is going to do it. I don't know, man. We'll see, man. Hopefully they have something interesting planned for the launch. Again, same thing with MegaETH, right? You got to have something that people want to do over there. So hopefully there is something exciting when it launches, and we'll see though. What have they given a date here?
No date.
It's coming though. It's coming, bro. It's coming. I mean,
it's coming.
It's really hard to gain attention, and they've somewhat squandered it. But takes a while to build shit. There's no doubt about that. Man, I wish them luck, bro. I wish them luck. I hope it works. Honestly,
I was on the Ordinal show last night. They're bullish. They're bullish.
You're bullish on it? Okay, good.
I don't know about Arch specifically, but they're just bullish on the Bitcoin ecosystem. So.
I saw Casey talking about seasonal runes. Did you see that?
No.
Did you see that post, bro?
No,
we're gonna have summertime runes. That's when we launch new runes, and then in fall we're gonna just talk about runes, and then in the winter we hodl our runes.
I did see that Casey's been more active. So what that means, I don't know, but the ecosystem's in pretty rough shape, and it seems like last night on the Ordinal show, they were comparing it to the $8 Solana moment, the infamous $8. I don't know if that's
interesting.
But it's been like that for months. It's the extended $8 moment. It's the months-long $8 moment. Is there going to be a spark to revive the Bitcoin ecosystem? The community is still there. I mean, it's very small. I think they have a lot less money than they used to. But it's there. So I want to see those guys win. I also want to win in the Bitcoin ecosystem.
Yeah, me too. We got some pretty heavy bags.
Yeah, those guys need to step it up. What's going on?
Get this shit together, man.
Yeah, it's making me take an L. It's crazy.
I hope so. Maybe my 2025 prediction will come true, where I said Casey's going to make some changes to the runes protocol under the pressure of it failing. We're getting there. Getting close.
It said that he was talking. OpenSea was supposed to integrate runes. I think it was OpenSea. And they were like, oh, we're actually just not going to do it. There's not enough interest. And then Casey tweeted at them and was like, I'll help you set it up. And they were like, all right, we'll do it. And so apparently he still wants the thing to happen. It's always weird when I always thought like just being in his position, like you're kind of like that God mode figure, And then he was just like, I'm not going to do anything to it at all, actually. So it's like, why'd you even build it in the first place? Satoshi was around for years. He didn't just build it and leave the first iteration. So I don't know, not to compare him. He is like Satoshi. He is like the most impactful figure on Bitcoin since something like maybe like Satoshi. So I don't know. He should step into the role, I guess, and save my bags.
Yes, sir. That was my thing. My thought was like Casey's ego's too big to just let runes fail. And there's going to be a point in time where everyone's so frustrated that
it pretty much failed at the moment, though. I mean, like I know Leo says they're the most successful Bitcoin, implementation, but I mean, dude, those things are at zero. So
yeah,
I don't know.
By the way, Jake, we're gonna have to revisit at some point Jake's fucking predictions because he's hit about 20 or 25. I think
He's
every
hot
other day. I'm
Jake's
seeing
hot.
another fucking the rise of the fucking privacy
Let's
coin.
see.
Check.
We're good. I think
Look
the best prediction we have so far is literally a year and a half ago. We said the top of the market was going to be America's 250th birthday. That's still looking pretty good at this point in time.
That looks really good. Yep.
We're just nailing it at this point in time. We're the long-term team in a society that is very short-term. Unfortunately, that is just focus on whatever the price is. Maybe we need to start going long on our own predictions. This is what we're doing, but in the builders version.
Also, I did see that node strategy is kind of getting we were iffy on it. Saw that it's doing pretty decent.
It's come back.
I don't know if it's come back, but the token seems to be up. I didn't look, but that's what they said last night. And they said that although all ordinals have nuked over the past week or two, Node Monkeys is actually like up, and so it's reclaimed its #1 position. So apparently we're still bullish on the strategies. I
saw TO taking a bit of heat on the timeline, but that was to be expected when you increase supply. And
the strategies are coming. We actually have a call with Adam in like an hour. Excited to hear.
That's a good fit. So I'm looking forward to that call today.
Totally.
We're just gonna be puppet strategy on ETH.
Yo,
strategy on ETH.
Yo, chill.
Are they ready?
Delete.
Now, the biggest one, we've talked about this for a while, but the Nakamoto card strategy, I think, is like the craziest one because everybody who holds a Nakamoto card is just like absolutely retarded and will never sell. I did see one sold yesterday for like 110K, and the whole community was freaking the fuck out. Like, how could you sell it for so low?
Handed bitch. Yeah.
Gotta love the Pepe community. Yeah. And so I guess this will be a good time to talk about some of the stuff that we're doing over at Emblem. Shannon is now cooking full-time on the Emblem stuff. He built this cool application, giving a teaser here, which is something that we've been talking about for quite a while, still kind of in the experimental stage. But our power users, the power users, meaning the people who vault assets consistently, there's like 5 or 6 wallets that are over 1,000 vaults. And basically what they do all day is they sit on OpenSea and they just hit best offer. And then they just look for whatever the best offers are. And if you have an asset that they hold, they just vault it and bid it. So we figured, hey, we have these cool AI tools that we've built. Let's see how we could just figure it out to where you just plug in your own Bitcoin wallet and it just tells you what the resting bids are. And then on that page itself, you can vault the asset and accept the bid all in one transaction. I think this is like a free money printer if I've ever seen one.
Yep. Let's do it, man. Can't wait.
So we'll see.
Like, yeah, the Pepe people are going to be.
I think this kind of tool ends up becoming like quite valuable, especially as we go cross chain, right? As you have rare Pepes on Base and on BSC, or you have ordinals on Solana or whatever it is, right? You just kind of throw in your asset because we've always said that the best custody of an asset is self custody, and we recognize there's a ton of people who just hold their assets natively, and then they'll use Emblem to see whatever the liquidity profile is and then accept it and bid. So we're just taking this to the next level. There's definitely a lot more people who would rather just vault it and just keep it all in one kind of nice area. We get a lot of people asking for Emblem collections, not even to sell, just so that they can have all their assets in one area on the biggest NFT chain that exists, which is ETH mainnet. So maybe roll this out as a premium feature. I think we're going to put a lot of focus onto the subscription service across all of our different applications. So that'll be coming soon to Emblem Vault. Also something that we started training our own AI model. Hustle's quite slow comparative to some of the competition out there. And we need to make it much faster.
It needs to be faster.
Much faster. And so we hired some consultation to help figure out how to train a model. And that is now underway. And from what I hear, it's going to take a few weeks, maybe a month, to get some results on what that looks like. It's honestly a new process for me. I don't really know much about it. kind of a little bit more hands off on this one, which is kind of nice. But a faster hustle would be nice. A cheaper hustle would be even better, to be completely honest.
Whoa. Faster is
fast and cheap. That's what we need, man.
Fast and cheap, dude. Just like the women I like, right? Just kidding. This morning we announced the migration group, the second migration group, I should say, for Bankr and Radium. 4 teams convert or have confirmed, and we have announced. There's another maybe 2 or 3 that are kind of on the fence, so we'll see if they decide to join in or not. But shout out to the Naked Gym community, Bao, Pay AI, and Holdlink Gym, and Bonk are going to be going to BankFun, and Pay AI and Link Team are going to Radium so that they can control their own funds and have some self-sovereignty. Adam, you've been in contact with all of these teams. What's the take? We got 2 memes and 2 utility. 2 memes going to Bonk. The 2 utilities are going to their own pool.
Man, it's just, I think people are much more comfortable with it now, right? Seeing that first group go through, teams are just like, yeah, now I'm ready now. And it's good. Like a couple of these guys have some exchanges. So having that kind of path already laid is nice to be able to reassure these guys on how that's going to work. It's just getting better every round, right? It's just easier for us. And I'm seeing it much more about how this is going to can live on its own. But yeah, it's getting better, man. Excited for this next month is going to be crazy.
Yes, sir. I am excited for that. Yeah, we got lots of other things, partnerships. New builds, Migrate V3. People can kind of put 2 and 2 together. Chris, what do you think of Migrate, dude? This product's just still kicking and cooking. New inquiries every day.
I just think that there's going to be endless reasons to migrate, and I think that this is the earliest days. This will put us at 20 teams, right? So just about 20 teams before anyone's really gotten to an external team, any type of competitor, as far as migration platforms. So you just work through different edge cases through the experience of migrating each and every team. There's always like a little twist, a little tweak, a little surprise that you can't really plan for. And so, maybe we'll get to 50 teams before anyone else launches another team. So we'll have to see. But there's some pretty massive things in store for MigrateFun. So going into the year, I think that Emblem is the best position that it's ever been. So for anyone listening, take that as you will.
Yep. MigrateFun SDK is like 80% built, which Moby AI will be using. So people will be able to build on top of MigrateFun. So instead of building competitor, you can just use our own product and host the migration from your own site, which I think is attractive for a lot of people because Moby's doing something interesting. I'm not going to say the whole thing, but when you host it on your own site, there's a lot of call to actions and different things that you can do to encourage your community to participate in, different from a third party. But using a third party service on your own site, I think is a comfortable position to be in. So after that, we saw that Hustle got listed by 2 different small exchanges, Grove X and XT. So shout out to both of them for just randomly listing the token. Pretty cool. You know what I noticed is after I got listed, my DMs on Telegram just became flooded with like every random listing agent from every random listing site.
All scams. They're all scams. None of them are real.
It's all just, hey, $15,000, happy to list you,
Yeah, it's just, it's crazy. Some of these actually started answering just to kind of see where the conversation goes. And it always just divulges to like, pay $50,000, pay $100,000. And I'm like, no.
Where do I send it to? Drop the wallet. I'm sending it.
Actually, first I need you to send me as a test transaction. Send me $10,000, and then
just make sure you're legit.
So far, Gate is the highest. Gate quoted us $500,000 to get listed. It's like,
when's it going live? When's that going live?
Bro, they're the best. They are the best, man. No shame, bro.
I guess we could just mention like the DeFi AI sector. There's been some chatter that it's been down.
Oh man, dude.
There's no question.
I got the site live. Actually, I had it queued up.
Pull it up.
Yeah, this is great. This is what a great site this is, man.
I actually DM'd. I DM'd the founder. It looks like he responded to me. I'm gonna respond after this to see how we could get listed. Look, the 1 day AUM is minus $2 million. I don't know if that's true or not, but I think here there's only, so the site I'm on is scattering.io. It's a DeFi AI site. They only have EVM protocols added, but to show you how small this sector is, Bankr has $300,000 in TVL from this whole campaign of, and there's no discredit. I'm just talking about literally how small the ecosystem is. Bankr got backed by Coinbase, got listed on Coinbase, or backed by Coinbase Ventures, listed on Coinbase. Token went to $100 million. They launched this new cool Earn program in collaboration with Yearn, who's a very popular, maybe the most popular protocol during DeFi summer, to build this Earn product where you deposit USDC and you earn, I think it's like 4% APY or something. Even with all of that and the mind share that they continue to command, it's still only $300,000 in TVL. It's crazy.
That's crazy. That's just honestly, that is crazy. That's crazy. And that's, I mean, honestly, it speaks to, you know, the pull or how small our ecosystem is. I mean, even with, you know, Base and Coinbase support and all that, Jam, it's like, damn, Brian, you can't throw a couple million in here, bro? Come on, man. You can't throw, I mean, come on, man. Kobe. Here, hopefully Kobe at least will be like, here's 5 million. I'll just throw 5 million in there just to make it look like something.
Yeah, so it looks like they started tracking this as of September 10th. I don't know if that's like when their USDC product opened or if it's just when they started tracking it, but their highest deposit day was $250,000. Their biggest withdrawal day was $300,000. And their on-chain users, like as of today, they've had 256 daily active users. It's about maybe 4 times higher than what we're currently at. I think I saw yesterday we had like 60 or 70 daily active users. So, I mean, if you look at like market cap in comparison, it's about right. Their market cap's about 4 times higher than what ours is. They actually have taken a gigantic slide. They're under 30 million now. I'm going to pull that up here in a second, but
I mean, but this is I like this. This is real. When we're talking about like real fucking crypto users, like this is real. This is 250 fucking people using Bankr. There's 60 people using Hustle. Like that's fucking real. And there's no like, so anybody's telling you they have fucking 200,000 daily active users, go fuck yourself. It's all fucking fake. It's all fake. Like Newton, go fuck yourself. They have 0 active users.
Didn't even list them, yeah.
They have 0 active users. This is real. And I think if you pull up, what was the other one? The virtuals. Virtuals had like whatever. We'll pull it up maybe in a second.
Let me see. So let's do 1 day daily active users, and then we'll kind of expand outwards because it is this is like the market is down horrendous, but so Bankr's got 256 daily active users. They're almost the same as Clanker, which is 297, which Bankr is built on top of Clanker. Virtuals was like, when we were looking at this yesterday, they have 91 active users for a $1 billion token.
Yeah, bro. It's all fake, bro. It's all fake, man.
Our space is down horrendous. What this tells me is like, I still think the technology is just going to be completely insane. Maybe the type of application of it is not right, or the technology is not ready or the users are not ready, right? Because when we see people come to Hustle, if you're like somebody like Mav, who's like a very intentional type person with a trading group, right? They're all eating using Hustle. But for the majority of people, right, they don't want to have to try to retrain themselves on how to go about using AI for trenching or kind of trading or whatever. But this stuff's only going to continue to increase. And AI is like an exponential type product. I think cost for AI gets chopped. I was watching a video the other day. I think it's like every year AI costs get cut down by 30% or so. as well as you see an increase in the efficiency. But Chris, you have something to say?
Yeah, I would just say, like, I'm not going to say the price doesn't matter, but price isn't the best kind of North Star of how these businesses are being built and how these platforms are performing. We're building AI trading tools, and that's dependent on how active traders are. And you just had the biggest altcoin wipeout in crypto history a week ago. So obviously trading is going to be down. Pump fund revenues are going to be down. Trench activity is going to be down. You look at Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're still relatively close to where they were pre-collapse, right? So it was all altcoins that got crushed. That means all altcoin traders got crushed. So yeah, there's going to be less activity, but that's not necessarily a determining factor of how performant they are. And so I still think this is going to be like the biggest winner in terms of like crypto application and how transformational it is for the end user. And I do think that people will actually change their habits. Meme coins were totally different than utility coins, and people changed their habits to trade them. The trading tools that you use, the process of going about it was totally different. And it continues to change, right? It didn't all used to be bundled. Now they're all bundled. They didn't used to be sniped. Now they're all sniped. And so traders will continue to evolve with the tools that come to market. And I just think that don't always, not you guys, but just broadly, don't let price shake you out of what you think is actually real. And I think that that's how you win. Being early is painful. I mean, I got a lot of scars. I've been early a lot, but I've got a lot of scars. It's been very damaging. So
yeah, Chris, you bring this point up a lot, that a lot of people want to be early, but they don't want to go through the pain of what being early actually is, right?
That's what you get paid for. Yeah, that's your risk reward. You're taking a lot of risk, but you can get the reward. And being early is painful. Being early to Bitcoin was extremely painful. Everyone lost their entire social reputation for believing in Bitcoin, but they earned it back in financial capital, right? Being early to Ethereum, I mean, maybe they still are retarded. I don't know. Like, I mean, we talked about the Solana $8 moment. No one was on the chain. Like, everyone thought that it was dead. Nobody invested. That's why it was $8, is because nobody believed in it, right? But the comeback story is what everyone lives for. And everyone wants to say that they were there. I was there. And I promise you, none of these people that say that they were there were there. There was like 13 of us on the timeline. Okay. And it was the same thing with the Ethereum $80 moment. It was, it'll be the same thing with companies like ours, where, you face these hard times. But I mean, we've been here a million times before, and this time we're the most comfortable that we've ever been. So don't let price be a determining factor on your actual outlook of the success of these companies, because it's not actually real.
Yep. So going back to this, so I pulled up the 7 days. So in 7 days, Bankr has 1,700 unique users.
I think all the clankers are bankers. So I think since it's built on top of Clanker, it's the same users.
Probably, yeah. And virtual is at 600. Oh, rough.
More than I thought. That's more than I thought they would have. I gotta be honest.
That's anybody's there, honestly.
So I reached out to him. The founder did respond to me during this show. So I'm gonna try to see how we get listed on here. But it is only EVM.
It'd be cool to talk to.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. I'll ask him if he wants to come on, actually, because it'd be good to dig into these numbers. And again, yeah, it's not us, making fun of anyone. Our numbers are lower than these guys are. So it's really taking, a hard look at what's actually happening here. And just know that you're literally infinitely early. That's why all these token prices are horrendous, right? I mean, so Bankr's down to 35 mil. Griffin's at 20. I did see that Griffain did change their website. They have updated it. They have not posted, but they have updated it. I got to be honest, still somewhat confusing. I was trying to use it the other day. But I think they're getting into the right direction of kind of where all of us are. Kind of similar. Maybe I'll pull that up here in a second. ANON taking a shellacking, but still there too. Their product's still there and good. They're at an $11 million market cap, and we're down to a $5 million market cap. The who is it? Codex is a pretty cool product. They're pretty dope. It's perps, AI perps. Is pretty sick. Venice is still around, and where's Wayfinder? I think Wayfinder is like pretty low, although they're not added here. Wayfinder's at a $20 million market cap, so they're sitting at number 2.
Has that ever gone up? Is a single person on profit? Let me see that chart. Where is it?
I
I don't think one single person is I think it's literally only down.
Let's see. I got an airdrop from Kaido.
Oh, it did go up once. Damn it. See, right there, someone was in profit maybe. Like
This is like where I sold actually. It was like $90 million market cap.
Wait, how'd you get an airdrop for them? What'd you do?
I didn't even know. It was like when Kaido farming was popular and they were like gave a portion to yappers. And I think I had like posted about Wayfinder while we were building Hustle, and I like ended up getting it was like a few $1,000s in tokens. So it was pretty cool. That was like the only I think that's the only Kaido airdrop I've gotten. They actually like I don't know. I'm waiting for that airdrop, but that's gonna be like a down only airdrop too. The Kaido season 2 from all the yaps.
Your season 1 was decent, wasn't it?
Season 1 was nice, yeah. That was like paid for part of my Tesla. So the down payment at least. So yeah, shout out to Kaido. I got nothing bad to say about them. Just got to reiterate, man. We're early days, right? I mean, I saw some people complaining about our buybacks or something like that, and that price continues to go down. I'm like, yeah, I mean, we'll just continue to buy the token at a lower price. I don't know. Like that's kind of how I see it.
Yep. Totally cool with me. I think it's more signal than anything that we want as much hustle as we can get. So if you want to keep on selling it, we're going to keep on buying it. I don't really know what else to say. I mean, markets are going to market, but we're just going to continue building. We're in the best spot that we've ever been.
Most of those teams on that list are not going to be here in a year.
Yeah.
Just pick your winner. Who do you think is going to be here in a year?
I think it's easier to pick a winner now than it was 6 months ago or at the beginning of the year, right? I mean, look who has a community and look who talks on the timeline. Maybe, I don't know, that's maybe a determining factor as well. It's a bold strategy, but we'll see how it plays
who's gonna yap, baby.
I just see like for us, so like the last AI agent bear market was in like January through March or January through April.
Right.
And we were down at 600K. Now we're at 5 million. So we're like 8-9 times higher. A lot of those tokens are lower than that previous one. Because I remember when we were at 600K, Bankr was at like 30 mil. So they're like slightly above where they were. ANON is like way down. And Griffain is like way down comparative to that. I think they were at like 50, 60 million at that point.
And like, I mean, people just DM us, really obvious things oftentimes. Like, oh, it's a good time to really jockey for flipping some of the other, like, obviously, we see it too. It's not like we're dead at the wheel. We have some of the most exciting updates coming. So, yeah, I think once we start flipping some of these bigger protocols, I think that we're going to start getting a lot more respect.
Yeah, I think so too. Whether it comes through buybacks, Emblem machine is going to be turning on here in the next month or two. That's a significant.
Nobody's ready for that. Nobody's
ready for that. Emblem could be the most profitable company, one of the most profitable companies in the industry on a longer time horizon. But once we we're looking into adding Emblem to the Hustle subscription service. So that will be a big addition, focusing on subs. That's how you generate revenue. Bankr is crushing it. They have like 1,700 monthly subs or something like that, is what their dashboard said. Granted, it's a monthly sub, right? So that could change from month to month. But, having a consistent 50K in revenue, like that's probably pays most of their salaries. I think they have a small team.
But definitely would note that this is probably the driest that the transfers have been in the past like 2 years, right? Everybody's waiting for a pump fund airdrop. Everybody's gotten completely rinsed. So obviously AI trading tools would be down the most that they have been. I mean, that's totally logical. But that's not always going to be the case, right? Markets aren't going to stay down forever. So prepare for the tide shift.
Can you tell me when Hustle token is going to be integrated into your system? Can you figure that out?
Have you guys considered increasing your revenues?
Have you guys? Can you make the token price go up, please? Or just
can you study Hyperliquid?
I mean, the token is down. It's taken a beating this last week. If we didn't have this last week, we would be like probably ahead of ANON, right? So, and we're the smallest market cap, which means it takes the smallest capital injection to move the furthest. So take note, study. That's all. Study this. Well, it's funny though, is because it's like, I reiterate this to all the people who say, look at Pump Fund, look at Radium, look at Hype.
what are they doing different than we have? If you look at Hype, they're doing buybacks, and their token has one purpose on the platform, and that's for bidding tickers, right? We do buybacks and use Hustle to pay for the service, right? Like it's pretty much the same. The only difference is that Hyperliquid is a $50 billion protocol and we're a $5 million protocol, right?
Have you
Like
considered being a $50 billion pro? I don't know.
The only difference is they have a lot more money than us.
For
now, yeah, right.
Like,
I mean,
hold on, another thing they were like in the chat, you have all these apps. When's it going to matter? Well, first of all, the apps have to grow. All right. First, we have to build them, and then we have to grow their revenues. And then that's when the buybacks go to the token. But we centered all our entire company around a single token. The applications that we have are in the best position that they've ever been in. Once the revenues turn on for all of the products, it'll be really, really obvious. So, I mean, sometimes it's literally hidden in plain sight. It's right in front of you what's going to happen. We're literally telling you what's going to happen. So if you think that the company's revenues are going to increase, which I obviously bet my life that they will, Jake bet his life that they will, Adam bet his life that they will, I don't know. It's kind of obvious what happens next, but that's all I got.
You've been pretty consistent on what's going to happen regardless of the token prices themselves. And so we'll continue to keep it building that way, continue to build partnerships. From Hustle, we're maybe a week or two away from the next, from releasing the early stages of the expansion, and our partner just have to wait on, when you have partners, it's not just our decision on when things are released. You have to coordinate a lot of them, and the bigger the protocols are, the more hierarchy there is to work through. More hierarchy means more time, more corporate politics, and all of the kind of BS stuff that comes with that. But that doesn't mean that it's not happening. It just means.
And I don't think it's priced in, frankly. I don't think it's priced in yet. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, literally, I think it's top 25 by market cap. One of them.
If it's priced in, then we go negative. So.
Yeah, it's a sell event. When that Twitter space happens, it's always that's the time you dump.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say before we do wrap it up here is, like, with Hustle, you have this opportunity to literally take shots at just like take shots in areas that could potentially have some big ramifications here, right? So, for example, we're at a $5 million market cap, and there's 1,500 people across the entire industry using these products. Maybe if you had Solana, maybe 3,000 people day using these products. This is when you want to take the experiments. This is when you want to take the shots, for maybe not the just straightforward path, but to take these different partnerships and see where it could go, right?
Yep.
And so we're going to be doing that. Maybe some of the chains that are added to Hustle may come at a surprise, but that's because with AI, if you have this opportunity to essentially revolutionize the UX, maybe using some other protocols is the best path forward, right? Because you could get their users. These hard to reach, I like to call them hard to reach chains, right? The L2s and the non-EVMs and stuff. Most of their users do not interact with their on-chain economy because they just don't want to download 7,000 different wallets to deal with. But if you get it all in one place, potentially could lead to some on-chain activity as well as some subscriptions in some of their users. So we'll see. Can't get much worse than where it currently is, unless you go to 0 users.
Just kidding.
It's lost 99% of its value, and it still has 99% to go. So yeah.
One more thing too. It's easy to craft a story after the fact. In hindsight, like migrations actually went well. They went better than we could have imagined. They went bigger than we could have imagined. The deal flow from them is bigger than we could have imagined, but the price is down. If something went wrong, it'd be easy to frame it and say, oh, the price is down because, you fucked up the migrations. That just wasn't the case. So it's easy to build a narrative after the fact, but sometimes markets are just simply irrational, and you don't have to find something to ascribe what the deal is. You just have to understand that the position that we're in is better than we've ever been in. I don't know how to be more blunt about that. I mean, we've been grinding uphill, and we're still grinding uphill for years, but we're not, the inclination of the hill isn't as steep as it once was, So I'm super excited to go into the end of the year. I'm super excited about the next steps for the company, and history is going to be the judge. So come along for the ride or don't, but It's totally up to you. And
we kind of, yeah, we got like the MigrateFun emblem barbell, right? That's like where all the demand is from both of those. That's where you can get the buybacks. But you know, the AI layer with Agent Hustle can be quite large as well. It just takes a lot. It's just the most immature market between all of those, right? Emblem's been around since 2016. Interoperability sector is multi-billions now still, although has not gone through its interoperability cycle yet. Same with the intelligence. MigrateFun is just right in the center of the Launchpad Wars, which is the current narrative, right? So that's where all the demand is, because that's where people are building. So on one side, we have potential relationships with every single major player on the Solana side, on the Emblem side, working on, and we do have relationships with a lot of the major NFT players as well. For AI, I think there still is no major player yet to kind of take the reins, right? That could be us, could be somebody else, could be a combination. So that's why we play the game, and that's why we have the show. Next Tuesday, we're hosting David Schneider, who is the founder of Lit Protocol, who is doing their TGE next Thursday. Emblem and Agent Hustle, both built on top of Lit Protocol. Well, Agent Hustle is built on top of Emblem, which is built on top of Lit Protocol. So that will be exciting to see how that goes. So props to them, as well as we'll be starting to invite on Jim, PayAI, Bao, and the Link teams so that we could go through their proper migration channels. So lots to look forward to. Everyone enjoy your Thursday, and we'll be back with David and Lit Protocol next Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Until then, be safe and have a good weekend.
Later.